Sports Frenzzyy family, good night everyone. Welcome to another podcast. I'm your host Levon. With me tonight I have Ryan, the Englishman. And we're here to discuss some football night, some Euro action, and maybe we'll touch on some Copa, since as you guys are interested in that. Well, as for me, I'm not interested in Copa because, as I keep on telling you guys, this is Europe right up here. This is South America right down here. South American football is relevant right now. It's all about the European teams. But since as we know that most Jamaican fans are some Waganists and they support the Brazil national team, we'll talk about that. But Ryan, lots of action over the weekend, man. Some that was entertaining and the only downturn for the Euro 2020 so far is the mishap that happened on Saturday to Christian Eriksen. And it just goes to show that hey, we can be here for a minute and then next minute we could be gone. But it's a good thing that he was in a first world country and they acted swiftly and he was attended to and we still have the baller with us. He still has maintained hopes of continuing his playing career in football, but he has been advised by quite a few doctors and people that are associated in sports that he should just do away with football for the time being. Do away with football since as a health conference and all of that. And I mean, with him getting such a scare, people might say, "Oh, he can still continue because Daley Blind suffered something similar, and he has to play with a machine inside of him. That's Daley Blind for Netherlands. He has to do that, but I mean." Christian Eriksen should actually just sit down and think it through and decide what is best for him because getting such scares and if you look at it, possibility exists that he wouldn't have been here. But as I said, the doctors acted accordingly and you have to say hats off to his teammates as well who provided a cover around him just to avoid the cameras getting in closer and all of that. And also the referee and everybody that was associated with the whole fiasco that went on. And yes, they acted swiftly and all of that. And I say thanks to all of them, man, because we never really want to lose a baller like this. Never. Ryan, your take on this issue?
Well, it was a very traumatic incident. As I said, I don't think he was in a first world country because I think the match was in Baku, Azerbaijan. But the medical team was first world, and the reaction of everyone involved, the captain, the referee, his teammates, and the medical staff. That was first world reaction. And it was good that they got him back with the first pump of the defibrillator, whatever it's called. So it could have been a lot worse. It was traumatic for me. I was worried for him watching the game and seeing, because we have seen things like this before. We recently had our own incident this year, losing a former national player. Normally, once a player goes down, there's a high percentage chance that's it for them. And we lost a player in the schoolboy football. I think it was 2016.
Yeah, the St. George's player.
St. George's, yeah. So these kind of things, when these things happen, it's normally the worst that should be expected. But I'm glad that Eriksen is still with us. And even though us as fans and the doctors haven't yet figured out what caused it, put it this way, I'm just glad that he's here because and the time that it took for us to know that he would come around was very quick. Because if, for example, if it took like 2-3 hours or so forth, then I'm sure us as football fans would have a bad Saturday. So
True.
I am glad that he's with us, and it took us a few minutes to know that he came around.
So here's Christoph Fuller saying that he can go into coaching. I think he should give up playing too. You agree with that, Ryan?
For the most part, yes, because he has a young family. I think his wife now is pregnant with their second child. And so he really has to take stock of his life. I know that you said Blint as the pacemaker in him, but his own, I think he was playing a match recently and his one didn't work for a minute. So these things are very tricky as well. So um, he really has to take stock. The doctors are the best ones to advise him in terms of if they can figure out what caused it and decide if he can resume his career whenever, then they are the best ones in the best positions to advise him. But for us as fans looking on, um, for us, yeah, I think he should really consider that. And with a young family to take care of, I mean, there are so many other ways you can make money out of football as a former player. You can go into coaching, you can go in the commentary booth. There are many other ways. So he really has to take stock of his life right now. He has over 100 caps for Denmark. What else? You can look at that and say he doesn't have anything else to achieve.
All right. I see a lot of people saying that the governing bodies were somewhat artless in a sense that they still allowed the game to go on after it was said that yeah it was stable and all of that. And they said that Ericsson even said that yeah players should go out and play. But I mean, with all that took place, if you were in charge, or I should for a better question, did you agree with them that the match should have still taken place, knowing that that terrible thing just happened and all these players are still in shell shock?
It's they work out between a rock and a hard place because the schedule is they are thick and fast. The games are coming thick and fast with that schedule. So logically speaking, the most that they could do was to maybe give them a day or two. They gave them a day. They chose to play on the same day. They gave them a day in the sense that they offered the option of coming back the following day. And for whatever reason it is, whether what we were told was true or not, they chose to play to continue the match on the same day. Maybe they wanted to get it out of the way as soon as possible. Maybe they weren't in the frame of mind to come back the following day. Whatever it is, we don't know. But at the end of the day, they were the ones who chose to finish the match on the same day when the option for the following day existed. So UEFA really and truly was between a rock and a hard place and a decision had to be made.
Yeah. But before that match, we're going to get back to it. But before that one, Wales took on Switzerland, and we saw a 1-1 draw. Shakes called this match. Shake said that this match would have finished in a draw, and he also said it would have finished 1-1.
Shake said 2-2, I said 1-2.
It was 2-2 that he said?
Yeah.
Oh, you call it 1-1?
Yeah.
But well, so, my apologies to you, boss, because you know that man name of you as the prophet around here, so we have to listen when you talk. But we saw Breel Embolo putting the Swiss team ahead, and then Kiefer Moore equalizing in the 74th minute. What you made of this match?
Pretty much what I expected, but the Swiss team created more chance than I expected, and they could have easily won that match with better finishing. I think Severovic got a goal that was offside, and then they got a next chance after that that the keeper made a brilliant save, and he made some saves before that. So the Swiss really could have won that game, but it was a nothing spectacular, just a normal game, normal decent game, and as I said, I expected a 1-1 result, and it played out that way.
But if memory serves me correct, I believe you were the one who actually said that with Seferovic leading the line. Boy, this really
Yeah.
you have to wonder what happened with this Swiss team, because on multiple occasions he got opportunities to actually put the ball into the back of the net, but because of his lackluster playing style and his finishing, he was unable to score any goal. Going forward, do you think this is a cause of concern for the Swiss team, and should they change Should they drop him? That's basically
I
what I'm
think he
saying. Should
came
they
off. I
drop him?
think he came off the bench though.
Oh, Seferovic?
I think he came off the bench for
No
that
man, he
game.
started. He started the game.
Are you sure?
Yeah man, he started with Embolo up top man.
Oh, okay.
Because they were playing a
Well,
3-5-2 formation with Elvedi,
well,
Akanji,
regardless
Char.
of the fact, either way, whether they started or not, um, their goal scoring, they're pretty much like Spain, which we're going to get to eventually, I presume. But their front line is a cause for concern in terms of the amount of goals you can get out of them in a tournament. And I don't think that front line has much goals in them.
Can be said that that is true. Yes. Um, if you were the Wales manager, good point to get, or you think that they missed out on a point, knowing how
Every
tight these
point,
groups are.
every point for Wales in this tournament is a good point.
I say knowingly that the best third place can go through.
Yeah, every point is a good point right now.
True. Um, next up, as we were discussing before we got to the Wales match, the Denmark against Finland, the Danish team returned after whatever happened with Eriksson. They made a substitution. Matthias Jensen from Brentford came on for Eriksson. But they were shocked 1-0 by Finland. And the guy that I mentioned on the show that Sheikh said he never knew none of these Finnish players. I mentioned this guy named Joel Pojampalo, and he was the one who scored the winner. He never celebrated, but overall play. Did you see enough conviction from this Danish team that they could possibly probably progress from the group, or with this Ericsson issue, it is no, it has somewhat just dampened their spirit, and this is basically a hit for them going forward.
Well, I did not see much of that game. I saw some of it, and it wasn't much to write home about. I was watching some, and then I decided, so, okay, let me go to something else. And then the Ericsson incident happened, and I went back and started to watch. And then I think I watched like up to the end of the first half when it came back on, and I didn't really follow it after that. But to answer from a different perspective, it depends on how Denmark are mentally going forward in the next two games. It can spur them on, or it can damp their spirit. It can spur them on in the sense that they can play the other two games as a tribute to Ericsson, or it can damp their spirit that, boy, we lose our best, most creative player, but we're going to know. It depends
True.
on how they progress as a team.
True. But Finland got a surprise victory, and they now have a good chance of progressing as well, because as I said, any point that any team get during this phase is very vital in them going forward, knowing that the best third place can actually progress. So good 3 points for the Finnish team, and they never played that badly, to be honest. They actually played decent in the second half, and they totally deserved the goal as well, because the Swiss team never created much in that second half of the game. And yeah, let's see how this one goes from here. Next up on Saturday, we saw the Belgian team beating the Russian team by 3 goals to nil. And this was like the Russian team was basically like some training cones. Belgians ran around them, but
Yeah, that was a taking Kenny from a baby match.
yeah. But you know what surprised me? And for the betting people, it's actually be a surprise as well. I saw this match on Just Bet, and Just Bet was giving Belgium $2 odds to win. I believe it was $2.08 to win, and Russia was about around $4 or $5 thereabouts. I was like, seems like somebody had just bet today, because that's like $1 to 9. I was actually surprised about this one. But Romelu Lukaku scoring a double, and Thomas Munier getting the next one. He came on for Timothy Castagne, who suffered an injury in the first half, and that has ruled him out of the tournament. But what do you make of the Belgians perform in that match, Ryan?
Well, pretty much what I expected, to dominate the game, to play a Russia team that is not as good as they were a few years ago, the last tournament in 2018, to outplay them significantly well. The Belgians' really tests will come in the knockout stage. What they're doing now in this group won't really impress me.
But a lot of people are saying that the best striker at this tournament is actually Lukaku. And yes, he took both of his goals
Remains to be
well,
seen.
yes. But as I said, it's just like with the Italians. Yeah, the Italians look good on Friday, but they played against a poor Turkish team on the day as well. And you could say the same about the Belgians. They played against a very poor Russian team, and they did what they had to. Got 3 goals. Nothing better than just take that home and just prepare for your next match. Now we'll move on to a match that will interest a lot, and especially you. This one will interest. The English team 1-0 victory over the Croatian. You can't look no further than the starting 11. That was the biggest talking point of this match overall. First off, Southgate decided that hey, Jadon Sancho, Ben Chilwell can't make the team because he has to cover other positions. Fine, that was his excuse, you know. Then this man went as far as he has arguably the 2 best left backs in the world, and decided to play Kieran Trippier as the left back, saying that because he's vastly experienced and he can stop crosses and all of that. So it leads me to one thing: does this mean that Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw can't stop crosses? Is that what he's saying? Because that makes no sense to me. But Ian, I leave this one to you. And also Sterling wasn't really a surprise for me because I knew Sterling would have started, knowing how this man program. Your take on this game and the starting 11.
Well, where do I start? Starting 11, I am glad it wasn't a back three. That's the good part of it. But then now, it being a back four, I was kind of confused as to why a makeshift, why a right back is playing left back when you have two very good world class left backs who are better than the right back in their rightful position. So that was very confusing. I never understood it. I still don't understand it. He explained something, I still don't get what it means. Maybe a coach have to sit me down and explain to me what that is saying, because that seemed like coach's language, something that I don't understand. Normally when coaches talk, I can look into it and say, okay, I can see where something makes sense. This one, I just don't sit through it at all. I don't know what it means. Um, so that by itself, and the England left, I remember I pointed it out to you recently that England attacks better from the left side. That did not happen. For some reason, he decided to weaken his strength and strengthen his weakness. Well, not even strengthen his weakness, because Sancho wasn't even on the right. Sancho wasn't even in the squad. So the right just became stronger by default with Phillips playing the game of his life and got an assist. I don't know what to make of the left back situation, as I said. Sterling starting was a surprise for me. I kind of expected maybe Grealish or Sancho, but uh, I guess he has his reason why he started Sterling. I guess he trusted Sterling more um, because he's someone that he knows, and he knows what he can do for him and so forth, over like a Grealish or even a Rashford. So that worked out, because during the course of the game, as Sterling made a lot of mistakes during the game, but he was basically the one that was stretching the back line of the Croatians. That was an average back line, if we're going to be honest. And we got a goal from it. And it remains to be seen how Southgate progresses going forward, because I think some England fans were telling me that Southgate said that he will rotate his squad throughout the tournament. So let us see really what he has in store. Let us see how he progresses in the other 2 games, because that starting 11 was major confusing for me. And in terms of England playing style, the first 20 minutes was very good. Don't know what happened thereafter. And I think people were saying that because the temperature was very hot, one of the hottest before the game began. I thought I heard this is something like it's one of the hottest that recorded temperature in a while. So I don't know. Croatia basically with their midfield, which is their strength, kinda wasn't all that either. In the second half, they basically started to control the game, but England was very comfortable with them having the ball because they put on Bellingham and then they start to win some interceptions with Bellingham and Flips out there along with Rice. So I think England got very comfortable again sitting back in the last 20 minutes because they know that if the ball even goes to the front three, it is basically a toothless front three that the ball is going to. And if the midfield don't win it, then the defense will win it back. So they got very comfortable for some reason.
All right. First point though, a man that you never that you personally don't like. I know this for a fact. Tyrone Mings. He had a very good game, but I want to point out a few things. First off, I was taken to task on Saturday. Not Saturday. Yeah, when I and not Saturday. I mean yesterday. That's Sunday. When I made a few comments saying that Sterling had a very average performance. Other people say, "Oh, we are watching two different games," and that. Okay, as you pointed out, Ryan, yes, he was making the runs. However, when he was found by these players, and I can point out a particular occasion. Do you remember that play by Mount when Mount beat at least two players and then Mount crossed the ball?
Yeah.
And then his decision making was very poor because he could have done two things there. First, he could have taken on the first time shot.
I think he got shot first time.
Foot.
But then he held up the ball and tried to play in somebody and it got cleared. I think that's the play reference.
Yes, but even some of the case, right? I would give him the pass, say, okay, you held up the ball. You had enough time because it's not a case as if the Croatian player was basically bearing down on him totally, you know. So you had the chance to and the time to make a better cross into the over to the next side. I believe Kane and I'm not sure Wales was closer to the edge of the box, but I mean, since as you have already done that, you've done that part of the job. Why not make a better cross? And all I'm saying is that yes, he made the runs and all of that, but his decision making was very poor right over the entire game.
Another thing, I think there was a play that came to him, and I think he misjudged the ball, and the defender for some reason handled the ball on the edge of the box.
Yes, that was the one that Trippier took the free kick after.
Yeah, I think if the defender had left the ball or tried to clear it, because I don't think Sterling was going to win back that ball. And if he had won it back, I don't think he would have made the right decision. Because it seemed to me that he was struggling to read the bounce of the ball, and the defender got a hand on it and gave away a free kick.
Because if you look at the play too, you know, Ryan, the man jump into the ball. No, that's Sterling. Sterling jump up towards the ball. So at no point in time was he ever in control of that.
He was never in control.
One key thing that I realized as well. One key thing that I also realized in that game as well was the partnership with Foden and Walker down the right hand side. No, Southgate, don't do it again. Both of them don't understand each other any at all.
No, I think Walker don't understand. I don't know what Walker was doing in terms of trying. Everything Walker was doing was just off. I think it was less the partnership and more Walker.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're going to say partnership because I remember I played that it was Foden that went with the ball, right? And then
he controlled the ball wonderful, played it back to Walker, made the run, and Walker kicked with the ball.
So it was not the partnership.
It was not the partnership. It was Walker.
But the thing is that right out through the match, the commentators was pointing out that Foden and Walker don't seem to be on the same page, and in my estimation, Foden doesn't look that good coming off the right. That's the reason why I said that Sancho should have been in this team.
Walker was not on the same page with the football.
But do you think that your coach would actually bring back Sancho for the next game and play him on the right? Since as Foden doesn't generate the plays on the right, He's a
All right,
man that is known to play on the
here
left.
is the thing. Here is the thing with England and the front line. Grealish, Rashford, Foden,
Saka,
Sterling. Well, not Saka. Those four generally play on the left.
left.
So at some point, some of them have to play on the right if they're going to play. Good, you can't have all four of those players and have them on the left throughout the entire tournament, else the minutes won't go around consistently. No. So at the end of the day, some of them have to play on the right, regardless of the fact. The best one from the right is Sancho, clearly.
Yeah,
But
but that's
that's
why I'm saying, why don't you play your best player from the right?
no, I'm also pointing out here that for those other four players to get game time, some of them will have to play on the left. So you were saying that Foden should not play on the left. But then now you're going to have Tredaman who also play better on the left. So what are you going to do about that? If you want minutes to go around very well, then you just have to interchange players between the right and the left at various times during the entire tournament, however long England choose to be there.
And that's where we're coming from. But what I'm getting at is that if you have a natural right winger,
No,
why
I
not play
agree
the
with
man
you.
there?
I'm saying Sancho should not be left out of the squad again. For whatever reason, he should not be left out of the squad because he is our best player from the
Right.
right. Saka is also good from the right, but
Yeah, he's decent from the right here, but I mean, boy,
in terms of our best player from the right, it's Sancho.
boy. So get us have me as catch me sometime, yeah, man. But I mean, I'm not an
Well, I'm
English
just
fan.
saying
So,
to you, if it is that for the remainder of the tournament we start to watch and we see Grealish on the right or Rashford on the right, it have to happen because of the amount of players that play on the left, we can't have all four of them on the left at the same time.
yeah, man, I totally
So,
understand where you're coming
well,
from there.
I know how fans are. Some going to say, "Oh, why is on the left? Why is on the right? Why is on the right?" Because the rest of the competition is also better on the left. So some of the time, so at some point, for them to get game time, they have to play on the right.
I see where you're coming from, but back to the earlier point. I made mention that he said the reason why I left out Chilwell and Sancho was because he had to cover other positions. Now, this is a man who only made 3 substitutions, and these are the last 2 substitutions. One was with Calvert-Lewin, and that was way done after the 90th minute. And I
And I
believe the
never
next,
understood that one. I never
and
understood Calvert-Lewin substitution because you took off Sterling. Never get that one. When Kane came up, I understood that one because you put Rashford through the middle now, so you wanted a faster player through the middle when for the out ball. I get that one. But the Calvert-Lewin one, you move now. You're going to move Sterling. I mean Rashford from through the middle. I never get that.
and also if I was him, Rashford wouldn't have come on at that time. I would have put on Grealish instead, knowing that Grealish will run at these defenders and more than likely
To be
win a
honest with
penalty.
you, when Grealish was warming up to come on, I think he was going to come on for Sterling, and then Sterling scored a goal, and I think that's when he held the Grealish point. But I'd have also, regardless of the fact that Sterling scored, I'd have taken off Sterling.
I said the same thing to Josh. I said that even though Sterling scored the goal, I would have taken him off immediately. He wasn't playing good, boss. Grealish should have offered more than what
But when I was
Sterling did.
watching the game, even when the game just began, I was saying, boy, imagine Grealish against this Croatian midfield and defense. It would be a walk in the park for him.
God, let's be fair. How can Versal match up against Grealish? You notice that Sterling would is not as of much quality as Grealish. Skinned him all day.
Yeah.
Boy. But let's see how your coach goes on from right here. Producer, were you satisfied with how your coach went about this game?
No, I wasn't satisfied because I had a problem. I wasn't satisfied. I had a problem with the lineup. With Trippier at left back, that was a big problem. He wasn't effective there. I also had a problem with the way I go, his approach in terms of being very pragmatic or conservative, right? So I was looking forward to Greece actually starting over Ryan Sterling and then Luke Shaw over Trippier um, at left back. So that was basically it for me.
All right, so I say I agree with Sterling starting.
No, I didn't agree with Sterling starting.
You know, say when in the boy that still
But
though.
he ended up performing arguably the second best player for England on the pitch behind Calvin Phillips.
All right, boss.
Sterling
Before we move,
performed in the context of the game.
true,
Yeah.
but before we move on, Ryan, you notice that Calvin Phillips actually played a different type of role than he plays at Leeds. Notice that he
No,
was
but
more playing a box-to-box
but
role.
Calvin Phillips, if you watch the last 5 or whatever it is England games, since Calvin came into the England team, he has been playing that position. Calvin has had the freedom to play box to
Because
box
of Rice.
because of Rice, yeah. And Calvin has the passes, so he has never played the Leeds position for England. I don't recall any game at all once Rice is playing that Calvin Phillips has played that position. So it wasn't a surprise for me. I expected once Henderson is out that Calvin Phillips would have started and would have played that kind of position and would have got more freedom based on the skill sets that he have in terms of his passing.
Okay. Next up, we saw the Austrians taking on the North Macedonians, and the Austrians got a 3-1 victory. Started off by a brilliant goal by Stefan Leiner. That was some ball over the top from Sabitzer, and to see a fullback finish like that, it was like, man, this looked like a striker. You saw that goal?
I missed like 80% of the Austria match because I was at a meeting during that game. So I missed
But I can
80%.
tell you that you missed a very good game, man. I love this game. But after
I was at the meeting though. I had my phone turned down and was looking at some of the second half.
yeah, man,
But
and
I did not see the first half and the last like 20 minutes or so of the second half. So I basically missed the goals.
yeah, and Goran Pandev, the 37-year-old kid, scored North Macedonia first ever goal at a tournament. And guess what? The man is actually older than North Macedonia, since they gained independence. And I mean, it
Yeah.
was it was it was it was a goal of it was some shambolic defense. The keeper was very poor, and I mean, this keeper only got the time because Ben Foster was out injured for Watford, and then he came in to finish up the season for Ben Foster. Keeper is Daniel Bachmann. Yes, he kept on he got the nod over the other keeper. It was a calamitous mistake by him and David Alaba, who was playing centre back. And right through the match, the commentators keep on saying, why don't they move David Alaba from the centre back position and start to play him on the left, since as he's one of the most creative forces. Yes, Sabitzer was doing bits and he actually played very well. But I mean, if you look at it, play the man where they're actually strong. Second half, they made two substitutions. They brought on Mikhail Grigorich and Marko Arnautovic for the two players that started that weren't affecting the game much. That was Sasa Kalajic and Baumgartner. Both weren't playing that well. Brought on Arnautovic, and from there on in, the complexion of the game totally changed. Arnautovic was making those runs. He wasn't just static up front. He was making the runs in behind. He was coming deep to get the ball. And Alaba, once they made the move, Alaba crossed the ball, and there was Grigorich on the end of it to finish off the play. And then came another goal by Marko Arnautovic, assisted by Konrad Lema, and that was it. Austrians got a 3-1 victory. Again, as Ryan pointed out earlier, gaining points this early in the group set in good stead.
I
And
saw a friend of mine posted something, and when I was watching the Scotland game today, I thought of it. He was saying that Alaba is like that person who, when in your junior team as a schoolboy coming up, that is way better than everybody and plays everywhere, covers everybody position because he's way better. And it was the same thing with Robertson today. Was up and down, taking shots, defending, because he's so much better than his peers.
yeah,
So Alaba was basically I gather that Alaba was basically the same thing yesterday.
Yeah, he was somewhat, but I mean, he kind of played for majority of the first half. He was playing as a central defender. As the game wore on, as I said, he started to affect the game more by coming forward, and you know that it's very dangerous when he does that. And
Yeah.
he only had one assist for Bayern throughout the entirety of last season. Now he has one in one game in Euros so far. So let's see how they progress. And as I said, I actually liked how the Austrians look. They look like a well-oiled team somewhat. Next up, yesterday we saw what some people describe as the game of the day in terms of entertainment value and all of that. Dutch getting a 3-2 victory over Ukrainians. In that game, we saw what was deemed the goal of the tournament so far by Andrei Yarmolenko to pull one back after the Dutch had gone up by 2-0 to Georgina Wijnaldum and Wout Weghorst, who I mentioned on the program the other night that they can actually get goals. But I mean, the Dutch were very poor up front at the beginning. They got a plethora of chances and they missed a lot, including the guy who scored the winning goal, Denzel Dumfries. He got a free header
From
and
Memphis Cross.
yeah, and he never scored it. But I guess good sense prevailed in the end, and he actually got the winning goal. Yes, it was just destiny. But if I was the Ukrainian coach, that keeper is going to sit out the next two matches. Honestly,
Well,
he was at fault for the first goal.
the goals that he saved in the first half, he basically gave them back. He handed them a platter back to Netherlands in the second half because he was really, really suspect in the second half.
But the first goal, would you say is at fault for it?
The first goal,
That he came to the edge of the box and he pushed the ball right directly back in front of it. That Wijnaldum just swept home.
Oh yeah, definitely. He pushed the ball right back in the park. Yeah, I think he had time to push it. I understand why he would have done that, but he could have positioned his hand a little bit better for it to go away. But at the end of the day, he pushed it straight into the path of the running of the runner.
And Wijnaldum just swept it home brilliantly.
And that is something you're taught as a goalkeeper not to do. I think he had time. It's not one of those snapshots where you have to just get your hand in the way. I think he had time to put the ball a bit away from the runner. The winner now is definitely 120% at fault. Because that should have been saved. I know it bounced and whatnot, but it was a kind bounce. It was not one of those bunks that was going away from you or in the ground and the bunks that basically kills keeper. It wasn't one of those bunks.
It was like similar to the one that killed Kasper Schmeichel. A lot of people are criticizing him, saying it was poor, but the bones kind of killed Kasper Schmeichel in that Denmark game as well. But
that was a kind bounce for him, and he should have saved that easily.
Yeah. But that keeper should sit out the next matches. I was there and I was thinking, is this really the man that keeps for Dynamo Kiev? Because I was saying, no man, this something has to be wrong.
Oh man, he gave away the Ukraine game because the Ukrainians did everything to come back into that game, and that was on him.
And as I said, as Josh and I was watching the matches today, we were saying that that the Ukrainians actually played very well, to be honest.
They did.
They played well, man. You notice that they never sat back, even when they went 2-0 behind. They kept on attacking until they gave Yarmolenko space, and we have seen him in the Premier League, and I've seen him outside of the Premier League. And once they give that man space, he's going to crack it. And talk about that goal, man.
Very brilliant goal. It was the goal of the tournament until today.
Boy, it was a peach, man. There was absolutely nothing Martin Stecklenburg could do about that.
Nothing at all.
The Dutch came back. In the end and got a 3-2 victory, and that has set the tone for that group.
And if I was a Dutch fan, I'd be very regardless of that.
You know what was surprising? You know what was surprising yesterday, though, Ryan? We have been cursing out this man for playing 5 at the back, but yesterday they actually played 3 at the back. If you looked at how they actually played the game.
The Dumfries and so forth attacking more.
Yeah, and even the centre back, Jurien Timber was playing like a a defensive midfielder because multiple times I saw him way up in the
But
Ukrainians.
you realize when Aki came on, he started to play like a defensive midfield kind of playmaker, BPL kind of something, kind of
Yeah,
position. And he was the one who got the assist for the winner.
yeah. Next up, earlier on today, we saw the Czechs getting a 2-0 victory over the Scottish team. The Scottish team was missing Kieran Tierney, who's been nursing a niggle, but they started off the game well and had Lyndon Dykes got his shooting boots on because I started to watch this match and I watched around the first 25 minutes before I went to work. So I saw the first 25 minutes. And as I said, had Lyndon Dykes been more clinical, they would have went up ahead, but it wasn't meant to be. And then came the checks on, I would say onslaught because the Scottish team got opportunities as well. And they even dominated position in terms of, they had 58% position overall. But after that came the Patrick Schick show. I mean, Kufa gave him a good ball in, headed it home after the defenders were caught sleeping. And yeah, they went
No,
up
you know,
1-0.
I don't think so. I think the defenders were in the rightful position. They made the jump, but they were just being tweaked by Schick. I don't think the defenders were at fault for that goal. It was just one of those goals that the forward got to the ball first, and it was a great header.
I believe the
The
marking
defenders were
wasn't.
in the right. The defenders were in the right position.
No, but what I'm getting
But
at is that I believe that they could have been 30 to him.
I think they were as tight as it could be. You can't really hold him back. If you hold him, it's going to be a penalty. They were as tight
Yeah,
as they were on him, you know, in terms of close marking him. But the jump, it was just one of those balls, and he's a lot taller than them, so it
yeah.
was
It,
just
it
one
was
of those.
it was a decent header, man.
Because they went up for the ball as well. They went as high as they could, and he also went as high as he could, and he was taller, and he got the header. So I won't really blame anybody for that. It was just one of those goals.
Then came the second half, and David Marshall showed exactly why Wayne Rooney has dropped him at Derby. What was the man doing way up the field, Ryan? But we're
You
not
see,
going to.
when you're a goalkeeper and your team has the ball, you're supposed to advance to, if you lose it then or counter or whatever, you have time to go out and clear it. But there is a proximity, you should advance. He was too far out. He was
But
further out than he was supposed to be.
let's not
And
take
that's
anything. Let's
what
not take
truly
anything away from that goal from Sheik, though, man. The whip
yeah.
that he put on that ball, man.
It's one
God.
thing. It's one thing to see the goalkeeper off his line, but it's another thing to beat the goalkeeper off his line.
And what was it? 49.7 yards out. Was it
Well,
49 or 47?
54 yards.
54 yards.
54 yards. Yeah, pretty much half line.
Boy. But as I mentioned, it was a whip on the ball for me, man. Because notice
Exactly.
where he
Yeah,
actually was, and then the ball was like this.
yeah, he started the ball outside the post and finished it right in the middle of the goal.
It was some
It was a
goal,
win
man.
for me
And
as well.
let's talk about it, man. I can't tell you this much. No goal would beat that goal of the tournament. Nothing can actually beat that one. Come on.
Unless Giroud find a scorpion or something, but that's about it.
But we saw a goal of the tournament yesterday, then today came another goal of the tournament. Tomorrow look tasty, boss. So
Very much
let's not
so.
really jump the gun. But yeah, it was a good goal, and the Czech put themselves in a position to actually qualify from this group. Because if you look at them and the matchup with the Croats, I think they can probably get a result against Croatia. Scotland on the other hand, in a spot of bother, even though Darren Fletcher, the Scottish man, maintains hope that they can cause trouble to this English team.
It's not a foregone conclusion for the Czech to beat or draw with Croatia, because out of the last 14 games, Croatia has lost like 7, I think. So Croatia has not been their greatest self over the last year and a half.
That's why I said that the Czech are in a position that they can actually qualify from this group.
I remember I said it the last podcast that that is the reason why I don't want England to play a back three because Croatia can be beaten, and they have not been on good form um, for a while. They have had patchy form, as I said to you, over the last year and a half. So teams that face Croatia should play to win against Croatia.
Agreed upon. Next up, we saw the Polish team being beaten by the Slovakian team, and there has been 2 own goals at Euro 2020 so far, and both own goals have been scored by Juventus players. The first one was by Meri Demiral for Turkey, and then it was Wojciech Szczesny who scored the next one today. And the Polish team started off the tournament very badly, and the producer was watching this match and he was said, "Boy, I never know that this Polish team was so average," and said that they lacked creativity right throughout the entirety of the game. And I mean,
So that means
they got
so
a
that
red
means I
card in
never
the
watch,
62nd minute.
so the producer did not watch the Poland England game, World Cup qualifier game then.
Nah, man, he said, come on, man. Playing against England, you don't expect them to create much, but come on. This is Slovakia. At least you'd expect them to do better.
Okay.
But as I pointed out before, Lewandowski in competitions for Poland is not the Lewandowski playing for Bayern and in friendlies for Poland. But the thing is that people are defending Lewandowski somewhat, saying that he doesn't have the creativity behind him to back it up. And that takes away a lot from him. But I mean, people might look at it and say, oh, this youth is too young and it's too quick to blood him in. But they have this youth, his name is Kasper Kozlowski. That's his name. I believe he's 17. Yeah, I remember serving right. I think he's 17. But I mean, if the youth is quality and he's a creative outlet, in case of, he's more creative than Matthias Klick and also more creative than Gregor Krychowiak. Why don't you give this youth opportunity to actually create for Lewandowski, knowing that this man thrives off service?
Or even so, they could also use Moda. Moda plays well for
Brighton.
Brighton. And
Yeah.
the Man City game that they beat City, he was basically man of the match in that game. So instead of having
So
Moda
I mean,
start, he's pretty decent going forward, and he's one of their better creative players. So if you're afraid of using an inexperienced teenager, there's a 20-year-old player in the team that you can easily use.
true. But boy, they put themselves behind the 8 ball in this group, and I mean, come on, man. At least you could have actually put up a better show. But they lost 2-1 with Milan Skriniar getting the winner, and that was just it at the end of the day
Brilliant
for
goal.
them. It was a brilliant goal, yeah. So we actually saw 2 very good goals today. Next up, we saw the Snorefest, the Boarfest, and the match that, boy, if I was a Spanish fan, I'd actually be so disappointed in this game. Spain had what? At one point, they had over 90% possession, and they ended up with 85% possession, and Sweden, it's 15%. But guess what? The most important part of it, the game finished 0-0. Morata did what he does best. Man was just having a ball, man, just having a vibes, missing the goals. And leading back to one thing, Dorian, and I always say this, that possession in football is big time overrated. Fully overrated in my estimation,
Especially when
because
a
they
team
add
like
over
Spain plays.
my exact sentiment. Because you can't tell me that they have this much possession, right? And they didn't actually score a goal from it. And
If you don't have a
Demo
direct, if you don't
is
have a
going to say
direct,
that.
if you don't have a direct player in your midfield line or your forward line, then this is what happens to you. You have the ball, you hug the ball, and then you might create a few chances. And if you have a Morata in your team, they're going to miss naturally. So
But all right, as a
Spain
coach,
lack,
Ryan,
Spain lack. I think Olma is the only direct type of player because Ulmer will have to get the ball and shoot. But outside of him, they really don't have
that
direct.
started the match today
Yeah.
or overall?
No, I think who else they have in the team that's direct? Adama Traore?
All right. Adamacher is, and also the youth that I mentioned that brings something different from the midfield. Fabian Ruiz is not afraid to shoot. So I mean, why they didn't actually go for these youths? And what I was about to ask you though, the man that just broke Villarreal's scoring record, Gerard Moreno. You saw that Morata wasn't doing anything whatsoever on the field, and you wait until the last 16 minutes of the match to bring on Gerard Moreno. And then after the match finished, here's what the coach is going to say. The players said the condition affected them. They couldn't control the ball properly and things like that.
They were
How does that
controlling very
make
well
any
from
sense?
as far as I saw.
Boy.
They had almost 1,000 passes.
Excuses.
How do you make 900 yard passes and not control the ball properly?
Luis
How do
Enrique is
you
losing
allow
it,
your
man.
opponent? How do you You have 9-1 in terms of you were 9-1 in terms of passes on your opponent. Your opponent did not make 100 passes, so that is a big excuse from Lucio.
Boy. But
And
I would be concerned if I was Scottish fan.
if odds were on, if you had, you can bet on goals and so forth for football. If there was a odds betting, I would have won some money on Morata today.
Missing.
Because I know he was going to get goals and miss. I would have won money on Morata.
We call it some long way out in the from we were actually discussing the game. When was it? Friday? We actually spoke about it that Morata, if Morata start, Morata will get chances and he'll miss them. So said, so done.
Yeah, that's Morata.
But we look forward to the two games that we look forward to the two games that will take place tomorrow.
Shooting, Morata should just look at the keeper, shoot at the keeper, and the ball will go in the far corner.
But we look forward to the two games tomorrow at 11 a.m. because tomorrow we only have two games, not three like we have become accustomed to over the past couple of days. So, first up at 11 a.m., we'll see Hungary taking on Portugal. Call this game, Ryan.
Hungary, Portugal. I'm going 2-0 Portugal. Portugal is another team that has star power but play defensive football regardless of who they play. So they will create chances and don't score a lot. So 2-0 Portugal for that game.
So you don't think the Hungarians can actually upset them?
They can, but I don't expect them to.
Okay.
And they don't even have the best player.
Yes, the Bosla is actually out injured, and we're still carrying an injury from January. By
the way, he's out of the squad or is in the squad injured? How is it?
I think he's in the squad injured.
Oh, he's in
I
the
think
squad.
That's what I saw. I said it before. I keep on saying it, and Ryan sent me a video earlier this morning with some ESPN analysts discussing it. If I was the Portuguese coach, I'm not trying to fit Cristiano into this team as a benchman, because starting Cristiano is going to let you do one of the two things. It's going to either make your team weaker, or you're going to have to sacrifice certain things about your team to actually fit him in. They were actually saying that Cristiano strives when you have another forward playing with in terms of a center forward. So they're saying, do the coach go with Andre Silva or Joao Felix, or play Bruno on the wing, or play him in midfield? Knowing that
Ronaldo himself on the wing in a 3.
Oh boy. So again, so we've been talking about coach all night. So here's a coach speaking on that. He's saying that you have to start him. He draws so much attention, and I believe the other player should capitalize. Christian then is not the Christie anymore. Nobody not really pay Christie no man. Christie should sit on the bench and allow the better quality players to take over. Even if he goes on to score tomorrow, I'm going to still stick by my point, just like I said, that Sterling should not start for England. Christian up to start either. But let's see how this one goes. As Ryan said, he expect this one to finish 2-0 to them. So you just a wait and see. Next up, tomorrow at 2 p.m., we'll see the big one. French team taking on the mighty Germans. Well, I mean the little Germans, because everybody just write us off totally. They have. So I mean, Ryan, how you see this one going tomorrow? With the French team, hold on, before you move on. You said that there is an ongoing feud in the French camp between Giroud and Mbappe. Mbappe being a little spoiled brat. How you see this one going?
I don't know how much ongoing it is in terms of what I heard Mbappe said to them. But it could be really, the French love revolution already. Every 10 years they have one. So they're kind of due for one. But that said, Germany is also has a selection crisis. Their best, their strength is their midfield, and they haven't been playing with a 3-man midfield for a while because they have to compensate for their defenders. Their defenders play better in a 3. Rudiger.
Ryan, you know that you missed something. You know that you missed something right there. You should have said that Germany midfield is their strength and also their weakness. You should have put that in because, as you said, they're going to try to fit in certain people, and then they're going to take away from the team itself. But carry on.
Yeah. So basically what I was saying is that to compensate for their defenders, their defense is their weakness. So they are going to weaken their strength to strengthen their weakness. Or at least that's what they have been doing for a while. So I kind of expect a back 3 from Jogi Löw. And as for Kimmich, I think Kimmich will be wasted on the right because he's on the right wing back, because he has been better through the middle for a while now.
And won't be wasted, man. You know that he's a killer out there too, man. So don't say wasted.
As a wing back?
Yeah, man, he's very good out there.
I know he's better. I know he's good as a right back, but right wing back, not so much.
Basically, say it's not as if you're doing much different, you know. And you'll
yes,
be high up in pitch, right?
But anyway, I'm not convinced by Kimmich as a right wing back in terms of what he can deliver as a midfielder.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, so I kind of think that Germany will be going about it to weaken their strength to strengthen their weakness. And their front line, if Gnabry does not get a goal or 2, then I don't see Germany scoring a goal or 2. So that said, I am going with France to win 3-1.
I love that prediction. But yes, Christian further saying that I think Germany should play the French a little dirty. If they can ruffle them a little bit, they can get something out of this game. This is the exact sentiments of one Antonio Rudiger. He says that in order for Germany to do well throughout this tournament, we need to play them a little bit dirty. He actually said it.
That's all like Rudiger. Rudiger play everybody dirty.
So he said it, man. He said it. Well, before I move on, Casey, I need to apologize to the English fans, you know. Don't think that we're gonna forget it. Producer, you remember the man came on here and said that Croatia would have beaten the English team, and even really even said the team said really that's a bold call.
No, everybody said it. No, so a lot of people were saying it, and then when Croatia lost, I started to hear that Croatia don't have the creativity in midfield. So when Croatia lost, then all of a sudden they don't have creativity in midfield.
But Ryan, the entirety of Friday night, we weren't here discussing that they're not the team that they once was.
Yeah, we said that. But then outside of here, people were saying that they're expecting England to lose because of Croatia's midfield. Croatia lost. Croatia don't have the creativity in midfield, and their forward line is blunt. So where was that all along when you were making predictions for Croatia to win?
All right, Casey, just apologize. That's all we're asking for. Apologize to the English fans. You need to. Okay, so here he is. He actually apologized. He said it. My apologies, Josh Call and Ryan Lawson.
Yeah, he's not been a shakes. Yeah.
But back to the game tomorrow. Yeah, man. I expect it, you know. I expect it, man. Just come on. Yeah, the French team to win, you all say. As I keep on saying from a couple
Even though
weeks
it went
back,
there, yeah. But
as I keep on saying from a few weeks back, we the Germans will just go about our business slowly. Not pay nobody no mind, just take our time and go about our business. This is Yogi Love last competition with this team. Needs to do something. He needs to compensate for what he did in 2018 with that madness. So we're looking forward to having a good game tomorrow. That's all I'll say. See you tomorrow, Bones Banton. I have nothing else to say about that. And yes, I'll be posting the lineups. And I need to post the French lineup. I'll post both lineups. Um, Before we go, let's talk about Copa America a little bit. Brazilian got a victory last night.
yeah,
Was it what 3-0?
yeah, 3-0.
And Neymar closing in on breaking Pele's goal scoring record for Brazil. Talk about them quickly because a lot of people are saying that they love how this Brazilian team look, while others are saying that they don't look much different from a lot of teams that are going around. They just look completely out of it, and TT has
I,
just been
I,
a little
I,
bit.
I see people. I see people making this. I see people making excuse for Brazil and then criticize France and England, which kind of don't make no sense to me because Brazil right now, I think Brazil has lost a step from 2018. I said it to a Brazil fan. Um, the match before this, the World Cup qualifier that they won 2-0, and he agreed with me that he does agree that they have lost a step. But what has happened is that the coach realized that he does not have the creativity, especially in midfield, so he is becoming more solid. He is more solid defensively
Defensively.
and in the midfield, and he basically allows the forward line to do their thing. Pretty much what France does. So you can't then cuss France and then praise Brazil because I see a lot of people doing that. That don't make any sense.
Agreed upon. As I said, Southgate is a PE teacher. Tite is basically one of the students. Both of them sucks when it comes down to selection, and they have just been doing okay. As I keep on telling people, whenever they come up against a European team, the true Brazil will show up.
Put it this way. Last World Cup, no South American team made the semifinals. The furthest they went is the quarterfinals.
Okay.
None of them has gotten better. The European teams have gotten better. Italy, who never made it, has gotten way better. England has gotten better. They have finally gotten a midfield.
Even the same Dutch team that didn't make it last time
The Dutch have gotten better, except for the fact that they have gotten worse since Frank
the
came in.
the coaching change, yeah.
Yeah, but regardless of the fact, they have gotten better. So, and the reason why Brazil looks so good in that confederation is because the teams have gotten worse. Chile have gotten worse. Colombia has gotten worse. Argentina, who is the second best team in that federation, has gotten worse. So Brazil looks better there because their competition has fallen off. But they themselves have also fallen off compared to world football.
And talking about the Argentines, they drew 1-1 earlier with Chile.
Expected.
Messi scoring a free kick, but as you said, as expected, because whenever Argentina and Chile plays against each other, you know that this in one way. A draw.
Either Chile win or draw.
And I see there was a comment earlier on from, I believe name is Adrian Nicholson, saying that some of the Copa matches are more entertaining than the Euros matches. And I don't remember who it was that took him on. I think it was Sherwin Banico took him on and said that watching some of these Copa matches is like watching Umberlands against Ardent Garden. It's just physicality, nothing else. No, there's not much thrust.
If he had said the Copa matches were better than the Spain-Sweden match today, then I cannot, and maybe would have agreed with that. But generally speaking, no, they haven't been better. They haven't been anywhere close to be better.
No way at all.
I heard the same argument in 2016, and Euro was proven to be way better in the end.
Yep, yep. Um, and few final notes. So in the NBA, the Atlanta Hawks has tied the series with Philadelphia 76ers. Devin said he expect Atlanta to, well, not Atlanta, I mean Atlanta
Atlanta.
to, I'm mixing up the football club with them, Atlanta to actually shock the 76ers if Joel Embiid is not fully fit. And yeah, that's tied up. And last night we saw the Phoenix Suns sweeping the
Denver.
Nuggets. And then Denver best player, the man who got MVP, got frustrated and got ejected. And on a brighter note for the producer and for the fans out there, and on a sad note for a man like Ryan, Novak Djokovic came back from 2 sets down after taking a bathroom break once again to end up beating Stefanos Tsitsipas 3-2 in the French Open, and so became the first man to actually win all
Win
majors twice.
twice. Yeah.
So he's now on 19 titles, and he's trying to go after the calendar slam come Wimbledon. So will he compete it? That's left to be seen. Hopefully not. Hopefully the GOAT. And I said this with no apology. The GOAT of all time, Mr. Roger Federer, can do what he does best on grass. He played on grass for the first time in a couple of years, and he was absolutely flawless today. So let's see what this one goes. On that note, Ryan, don't be a spoil sport as you just said about shakes and all that. You have to give a congratulations to Novak and his fans.
Hmm. Yeah, he did. Well, somehow he deserved it. He won against Nadal, so on clay, so he deserves it.
Ryan, don't hate on the goat.
What do you say, man?
You have different type of goat, right?
Don't
Novak
hate
is
on the great
Novak
football
is the
man.
common goat. You know the regular goat that carry roadside and walk up and down? That's Novak. He's not a
Where's
Nubian.
the Raja? Where's the Raja and Nadal are the Nubians?
Yeah, man.
Don't
Novak is
hate
the
on the
common
most
goat. You have to walk.
don't hate on the most complete tennis player of
Yeah,
all
man.
time.
Novak is the goat. You have to roadside and walk up and down. When nobody knows.
But on that note, this is where we're going to call it a night on the show. I want you guys to just go out and support some football tomorrow. Just watch some entertaining Euros action. Don't tell me about any Copa. Football doesn't play in South America anymore. Just watch some Europe football. Go out and enjoy the German against France match tomorrow. And before that, Bob Christie against Hungary. Let's see if he's playing against the country, Hungary. Let's see if he'll actually be hungry tomorrow to get some goals. And want to say thanks to all our viewers who were here with us from the beginning. 1 point went over 25. And thanks to all the viewers and all those who kept the comment section flowing right through it, man. Without you, the show can go on, and we just keep on looking forward to delivering some good shows to you. Ryan rode solo with me throughout the night, and we have to give him hats off because he was the only one who was available to us tonight, and the other ones were caught up. But Ryan had to make it, man. Show can go on without these people, man. And the producer, big up yourself once again, boss. Even though you and I had some issues, man, because this man keep on talking about Novak being and that, and I don't say that. But on a brighter note, just look forward to another show on Wednesday. Until then, peace out. Take care of yourself, guys.